G'day guys, thanks for visiting Richard's Corner. My name is Richard, and today we've got another haul video from my friends over at the Value Village here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I've got 3 packages for you today. Well, 2 packages and a couple of unique items that were noteworthy for my library here. So why don't we just start off with the 2 items over here. So the first things I'm revealing today are an awesome version of The Hobbit, as well as a special edition DVD of The Abyss. Now, The Hobbit has been made into a motion picture, 3 parts by Peter Jackson. It's hard to believe that 3 movies came out of this small book, where Lord of the Rings was a much larger trilogy physically as a book. But I've seen this edition of The Hobbit before, and I've always wanted a copy, and I found this just lying on top of a big pile at Value Village shelves there, so that was pretty nice find there. Really good condition, a little bit yellowed, but it's still in really, really good shape for me to enjoy. Although the age of digital books are very much, prominent these days, I don't really need a physical copy. There is something about reading a book in an analog form that sort of helps you appreciate it more. So I'm really happy to find that. So also, I found this special edition of The Abyss, done by James Cameron here, as you can see here. Underwater action adventure about a group of oil rig divers that encounter mysterious, powerful life forms 25,000 feet beneath the ocean surface. This is a really, really good movie. I saw this on DVD a long time ago. It's really cool to finally get a special edition of this to sort of take advantage of some of the special features that are included. I love the packaging in special editions and some of the additional notes that you get versus just getting a regular DVD. So starring Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastriano, they have really cool performances, and they're sort of a split-up couple that just happened to cross paths in this movie again. But yes, the whole idea of alien life forms 25,000 feet below the surface of the ocean, going into places that a person normally couldn't go without being crushed by the pressure of water. It's really lends itself to a tense and exciting adventure. There's a lot of internal twists that happen along the way as well, with a military team that goes with the oil riggers, and the deep sea starts to affect them mentally, and it makes it for a really interesting movie. So yeah, I'm really glad I found a special edition of this, and it's going to be a happy viewing for my collection here. So I also found this really packed, heavy bag of Smurfs. Now, I'm not sure if these are new Smurfs or old Smurfs, but they come in so many different varieties, it's ridiculous. It's really hard to not get sort of swept up in the collecting of them. Oh, that's not a Smurf, that's Donald Duck. But it's amazing, just the variety, and it's almost impossible to find them all. Some of them are, made up, as far as, you don't ever see these versions of the Smurfs in the cartoons. They're strictly done for collecting. And then the variety is just incredible. Look at that. So I've got all these on the table now. And if I just sort of pan down here, and you can see what cool detail. Like, I mean, there's a baseball player, we've got a gardener, we've got, a superhero, we've got, kind of a dopey one here. He's kind of, he's supposed to be lying down, so he's just relaxing there. We've got, the graduate here over here. We've got, a wizard with a really cool, a King Smurf here with a nice cape. Then we've got a clown one, which under any other context before the movie It wouldn't be so creepy, but that's actually kind of a creepy Smurf. Then we've got one in pajamas, and one playing soccer, and one person that's wiped out on the ice here with the skates. Just really cool figures. There's definitely room in my collection for these guys. I've never collected Smurfs before. I only picked this up because it was such a cheap package, only $3 before any discount, and it was really, really exciting to find them. They are, I'm not sure if they're an older style Smurf or not, so I just took a little closer look at some of them, and it does appear to be from the Schliel series, I'm sorry, forgive me if I'm not saying that correctly, of figures. Now, my son collects dinosaurs from the Chalil series, and it's basically like hand painted, wonderfully molded and detailed dinosaur characters. But I remember that the Smurfs had like a series of like premium figures that were molded like this. They don't have any joints that rotate or anything, so you can't pose them. But they were supposed to be a quality figure that you could collect. And because there were so many different kinds, your collection could easily be, 50 to 100 different kinds of Smurfs from all kinds of eras. I'm not sure how old these are. The dates are very, very faint on some of these, but they are a really super find for me. I did grow up with the Smurfs when they were on TV. I just never got to collecting them. So now I have my own little mini collection out of just one little package. So thank you, Value Village. That's pretty awesome. And then my last package here is much bigger and has a lot bigger characters in here. If I just rip it open, it's very clear to me, for the most part, that we have some Transformer figures. There's a Decepticon symbol on top of that one. Oh, this was the most exciting find for me. I will explain my excitement for this one in a moment there, but that's a Generation 1 Transformer. Let me get a few of these other guys out here and standing. Ooh, this one's very stiff. So finally getting all of my Transformer loot out of the box here, and actually half transformed into their robot mode so that you guys can see better. Let's start with this guy up front here. This is actually Skids from the Revenge of the Fallen movie. He's a bit of a dopey looking one. I couldn't get him to stand up or transform properly here, but apparently he and his twin brother Mudflap are trying to do all kinds of stunts to get Optimus Prime's attention, and he hopes to become an Autobot one day. But this is actually a pretty weird looking Transformer compared to my Generation 1 preference. He's definitely more detailed as far as just the Michael Bay movie style. It's stylized much differently than I'm used to, but not a bad figure. Actually, the transformation is actually quite ingenious, and it never ceases to amaze me how people can design toys like this to transform from a car into a robot, even if it is a little bit disproportionate. But yeah, still a decent find. Besides Skids here, I did find this particular Decepticon. Now, I thought at first that because of the green that it's actually Hound, but because of the Decepticon symbol, it may be a Combaticon. I'm not sure. If you happen to know who this guy is, please leave a comment in the section below here, because I'd like to know who this guy is. He looks pretty menacing. It has a pop-up action. When I push this down, his head goes in, and this gun disappears, and so I think it helps in his transformation. I don't think it transforms automatically, but I think that it lends itself to transforming when I push that gun back in there. But as a figure by itself, it's not a bad figure. That's actually very cool to look at. The detailing is pretty neat. It's definitely a military truck. The gun placement's a little odd for me. It almost looks like an alien coming out of his chest. For anyone who's a James Cameron Aliens fan, they'll know the reference there. But yeah, if you happen to know who this Decepticon is, please let me know. As well, I need some help identifying this red Autobot. He is not Hot Rod. He is not some of the first generations that I'm used to, but he does transform into some sort of SUV. So if you happen to know who that is, please leave me a message or leave me a comment below. Still a nice looking figure by itself. Doesn't stand terribly well the way it's half transformed here, but you can see from the detail here, it's not a bad figure. His face is very noble, as an Autobot should be. I love the blue eyes there. I love the detail in his feet and his body. I think it's a pretty good find. It's somewhat heavy. But it's also mostly plastic, so it's not a primo figure for me as far as the old generation Transformers are concerned, but it is a nice keeper for myself. And back here in the background, we have another Megatron Happy Meal toy. This guy was kind of curious. I'd never seen something like this before. I thought at first maybe that it was a new iteration of Ravage, but a little bit of research before starting my movie today is actually named Underbite. And he is from the Robots in Disguise cartoon. Now, Underbite is a bit of a muscle-bound guy. He seems to take pride in his strength, apparently, and he needs to constantly feed to keep that strength up. So whenever he's on Earth, he's actually at a disadvantage because he doesn't have a lot of metal or natural resources to eat here on Earth. So sometimes he'll forgo a mission, apparently, to look for fuel so that he can stay strong, because being as strong as he is, he also expends a lot of energy. So kind of speaks to me in somewhat, because I do work out. So it's kind of funny to see sort of a musclehead oriented kind of Transformer. I've never watched the Robots in Disguise cartoon. It happens to be on a time schedule that doesn't fit with my own schedule to watch it. So I'm not familiar with him, but it's definitely a keeper. But the chase figure for me in this whole package, or this whole run today, was this Generation 1. This guy's name is Kickback. He is one of the Insecticons. He actually transforms into a grasshopper. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is a Generation 1 or if it's a Generation 1 re-release. So yeah, it's been well loved. His wings are very loose. He still have, but I think his joints are tight enough so that he can still transform properly. I don't have the instructions to transform him, so I won't try on camera here. But one of his antennae are ripped off here, which is too bad. But really exciting for me. I've never had an Insecticon in my collection before, and one that transforms anyway. I did have one of the Galactic Heroes Transformers, which is a little molded figure, the same as the Star Wars and DC Heroes that I've reviewed in some other reveals. So I've had Insecticons in that form, but not an actual Transformer that actually has joints that move and can actually transform into their insect mode. So these are really cool finds for me. I'm really excited to have this in my collection now. Yeah, but they were notorious. You know, they were quite the soldiers in the Generation 1 movie and in the Generation 1 series, eating up any kind of metal or materials, usually breaking down walls that were fortified to protect the Autobots, and they would weaken defenses by physically going and chewing on the walls and eating them, so that the Decepticons, Megatron, led by Megatron, could go in and slaughter the Autobots if they could. So an awesome find for me. I'm really happy to find that. So this is Richard from Richard's Corner signing out for now. I hope you enjoyed this haul reveal today. It is amazing what you find when you are looking, and it's quite often can be easily a big mix of cool and cute and cool again. I'm really excited to enjoy the book and DVD, and really cool to set up a Smurf display for once and to start expanding my Transformers collection. It's really exciting for me. So I wish you happy hunting, happy collecting, and hope that all of your finds are equally awesome. For now, we will see you next time.